What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host, Chris, and today we get to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So if you haven't seen the movie and you are interested in avoiding spoilers, this is not the stream for you. I did make that very clear in the title, but I mean, yeah, go ahead. I want everybody to just throw in their favorite or most surprising moment from the movie in the chat, just right out the bat. I want to see what your guys' first impressions were when you watch the movie. What's something that has stayed with you since the film has dropped? Throw it in chat. Was it Professor X? Was it anything with the Illuminati? Was it the ending with Wanda? Was it the post-credit scene? Was it America Chavez? Throw into chat what your biggest takeaway from Doctor Strange was. I wish Deadpool was there too, but we're going to talk about all that, guys. We're going to talk about our biggest regrets, the things we wish happened but didn't. It's all going to be covered in today's stream, so throw everything out there. Let's see. I'm curious to see what you guys say. And make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the stream, subscribe, and let's have a good chat, guys. Let's have fun here. All right, let's see. I'm going to start reading some of these. Reed Richards. Most surprising moment was Wanda being so scary. A whole new side of her. Won't see her the same way. Really cool. Somebody else says John Krasinski. Not Reed Richards. John Krasinski specifically. All right, what else we got? Captain Carter getting cut in half. Zombie Strange rebirth. Your children will have someone to raise them. Yeah, that was a horrifying sentence. Killing Professor X. When Wanda went on a purge killing spree. Mr. Fantastic getting unraveled in 5.2 seconds. What's up, Chris? First time to join Actual Culture Catch-Up. Usually work on Saturday. Well, welcome, Steven. Reed Richards. Oh my gosh, the Illuminati line blew my mind more than Black Bolt blew his own. Oh my gosh. Black Bolt caving in his own head. Strange and Rachel helping and encouraging each other. Real emotion. That was really, really cool. That was some of the realest emotion I think we've seen in the MCU. They mixed all the characters that everybody has been wanting to see within a few minutes of introducing. Or nixed. I hate how Black Bolt died. I wanted to see Loki or Sylvie. I wanted when Wanda killed Reed. Just because someone stumbles and loses their way doesn't mean they're lost forever. Oh, Nash still has hope. Mr. Fantastic and Zombie Strange. I watched the movie. My biggest takeaway was when we're supposed to get the Book of Good and all the new Avengers are dead. It was sad to see an OP character die. I know Captain Carter died. How Captain Carter died. Why Tobey Maguire Spider-Man did not show up in Multiverse of Madness. Raimi ruined this movie. The Third Eye. Wanda is a good bad villain. Wanda versus Moon Knight. I don't think that would last very long, to be completely honest. I loved Wanda wrecking havoc all over the place. She makes a great hero and Avenger, but she does feel like a neutral villain. Wow, you guys had a lot of really good moments you've pulled out of that movie. We're going to be talking about all sorts of different moments today in this stream. Trying to wrap my head around, how do you do a spoiler chat? Like, what are we going to talk about? There is so much to cover. This movie, I think people are even underestimating how much information for the MCU we got from this one movie alone. Like, there was a lot of it. Yes, there were a lot of things. One second, guys. Yes, there were a lot of things we wish we had gotten. Deadpool, and Iron Man, many other things. Tons of things that we wish were part of this film. But we did get a lot. Epiphany, how are you doing? Bro, Illuminati was just fan service. That was not fair. They should have had some decent role. I liked the movie. Going for my second screening tomorrow, but this one had so much more potential. A lot of people seem to feel mixed on whether or not the movie was everything we needed or more, or everything less. It's really hard to say, and we're still trying to figure all that out ourselves. But we're going to chat about a lot of that today, guys. Good to see how America Chavez will be in the future. Yeah, I think America Chavez's introduction was really, really cool. I think it's definitely a character worth following her career, and I think she's going to definitely have some important involvement. Lots of Secret Wars. Yeah, I think Secret Wars is definitely without a doubt where we're headed in the future following this movie. They're talking about incursions, and they're talking about all these different variants and what would happen if the multiverse collapsed on itself. That's all very Secret Wars-esque, isn't it? Why wasn't Mordo killed by Wanda? Because Mordo wasn't there. Mordo was I don't want to say stuck, but we last saw him down underneath in that little throne room, and that's where he stayed. So maybe he realized if he goes out there, he's going to die. Who brought up the Tom Cruise Iron Man? So here's what I think happened. I genuinely believe that he was part of the movie. I also think that he even filmed some scenes for the movie, and that they ultimately decided to remove anything that he had to do. I heard he was in a post-credit scene, and I heard that was part of the movie, and they changed it. And if you notice, we had 2 post-credit scenes, but one wasn't real. So I do think that they juggled around whether or not to introduce Deadpool, whether or not to introduce Iron Man. There was one post-credit scene specifically with Iron Man where Iron Man contacted Doctor Strange, and the leak specifically said it was Tom Cruise's Iron Man, Superior Iron Man, contacting Doctor Strange saying, hey, we need to rebuild the Illuminati. So definitely interesting. The way they did the Illuminati was even different from what we expected. We thought there were different people from different multiverses or universes, right, all put into one little group, but it was just one group. This was the Avengers of that world, was the Illuminati. They all lived in that universe, so I thought that was interesting as well. But yeah, I think the Tom Cruise and the Deadpool, all of this was stuff that they were toying with. I do genuinely believe it was a part of what they wanted to introduce to the movie, and that they ended up ultimately deciding not to, but we'll see. I guess if that's the case, we'll see him in the future, right? Krasinski return, I don't know. So I've heard specifically Krasinski was going to play this role, was going to die in this role, which obviously we saw, and that he would not be coming back to play the MCU's Mr. Fantastic. So crazy stuff. Gavlog says, Sup Chris, do you think John Krasinski will return, or do you think he just wanted to do a short cameo rather than a long-term deal? Something I think is a interesting opportunity is he could direct Fantastic Four now. He has the knowledge. He has the ability, the professionalism. I could see him directing this movie, and I would be completely fine with that. I think that would be awesome. Is Chthon coming? Maybe. It's hard to say now that his book has been destroyed in every multiverse, right? Do you think they will show Mr. Fantastic and Franklin Richards since they were mentioned from Earth 838? Well, Mr. Fantastic is dead. But Warren actually had an interesting theory. We were running the podcast for his spoiler movie breakdown kind of thing. And he had an idea that maybe we would see Franklin Richards trying to get revenge on Wanda for killing his father. Now, Franklin Richards is a very powerful mutant, arguably one of the most powerful mutants ever to exist. And other than, I guess, Wanda, who is technically a mutant in the comics. And maybe he'll hunt her down. So, pretty interesting there. Yeah, the second post-credit scene was a waste. I wasn't impressed with that, but I do think that that's because they substituted it for whatever else they had, whether it was Deadpool, Tom Cruise, maybe something completely different, Kang. They decided to not reveal that, I think, at the end. You got to remember, guys, they cut 30 minutes out of this movie. The original runtime for the first screenings was 2 hours and 38 minutes or something like that, and it ended up only being 2 hours and 10 minutes. So they cut a chunk of movie out, and who knows what those details could have been, what they were. Lots of movie was taken away, though. Hey, Chris, what's my favorite moment? I think the first fight scene, as well as the portal scene with America and Strange going through 20 universes, was amazing. My favorite scene? I mean, it has to have been the Illuminati scene. It was just so uncomfortable, and it was so awesome, and it was so fast-paced. I think that would be really cool. Do you think fans put too much weight, theories, and expectations on Multiverse of Madness like WandaVision? Black Loki, I honestly don't. See, I run a YouTube channel, right? This is what I do all day long is we talk, we speculate, we come up with theories. I feel like that's part of the fun. I feel like it's realistic for fans to think that their theories are all right. Like, yeah, you could have a good theory and it could make a lot of sense, but if you're going into a movie thinking that your theory is right because it makes sense, or it makes the most sense in your head, like, that's on you for allowing yourself to be so convoluted in the fact that you think you know more about Marvel than anybody else, that's what the movie has to be. Like, this movie was different than even what I thought. A lot of things were different, you know? The way that it ended was very different. The introduction, how they defeated him, who Zombie Strange was. Zombie Wanda didn't even actually exist technically. You know, the Illuminati wasn't a multiversal team. It was just from a different universe. I think that if you as an individual fan thinks that because you heard something on YouTube or you had a cool fan theory or you saw some fan art that has to happen, you're ruining your own experience. I don't think that fan theories as a whole are destroying the experience, but you have to be open-minded, right? We have how much fun sitting here talking about, oh, what if Deadpool? You know, the Deadpool theory was perfect. Deadpool was manipulating the multiverse. He was going through and killing versions of himself and fighting different versions of Deadpool and saving his wife and time traveling, but not only time traveling, jumping to different universes. He very, very possibly could have been captured for meddling with the multiverse and potentially causing an incursion. And maybe one of the places where he went and meddled was in 838, the universe where the Illuminati is, and they captured him and put him in one of those jail cells, and he escaped during the Wanda scene, and he's gone. He followed Doctor Strange back into the MCU. Like, that makes perfect sense, but it didn't happen, right? Well, that's okay. You know? Good. Because Deadpool's going to make his way to the MCU. We just have to wait, and we don't want to wait. I don't know. Can you explain the whole 616 thing? Isn't comics the 616 universe? So the 616 is the main timeline where, prior to the opening of the multiverse, of the exploration of the multiverse in the comics, the main original timeline is Earth 616. I feel like that them calling our Earth 616 was mostly just a Easter egg. Then, like, oh my gosh, this is the most important thing to ever happen. I think it's an Easter egg. I think it's kind of like, hey, 616 is your universe. You know, stay out of ours, 838 or whatever it was. But yeah, it's like a little nod to the comics for sure. Jonathan says, how powerful would Strange be if he read the Book of Good? The Book of Ashanti? Well, here's the interesting thing about the Book of Ashanti. It can only be used in defense in the comics. They didn't really talk about it in the movie. It didn't play as much of a role as maybe we thought it was going to. We thought maybe we would have the Book of Ashanti versus the Book of the Dead, or rather the Darkhold. And it didn't really have that relevance. It existed as a quest, and then when that was destroyed, they went and did something else, right? But the Book of Ashanti in the comics can only be used in defense. So it wouldn't necessarily have made him any more powerful. It just would have allowed him to fight Wanda, and his normal powers would have been what he used. But, you know, that's the way it is. Yeah, I guess that's just the way it is. Wait, so the MCU is another multiverse? No, the MCU is the MCU. The MCU has a multiverse. Vims May. Multiverse is one thing. The idea. The multiverse is an idea. The universes that come out of the multiverse, that come out of the multiverse are the theory. So the MCU is the MCU. Everything that happens within anything that's cinematic is the multiverse. But it does get confusing, right? And I appreciate the questions. But the MCU is everything. The specific universe, the sacred timeline, is Earth 616, or Universe 616. And then the one we visited with the Illuminati, who were brutally destroyed, was 838, or 813, or whatever they said it was. Chris, this movie was both brilliant and brutal. Quite the roller coaster ride. Emotionally, visually, mentally, I was drained, but very entertained, leaving the movie theater. That's awesome to hear, Heiser. Super, super happy to hear that you enjoyed it. I feel like most people have. I feel like most people have enjoyed this movie, and I feel like it's getting a lot of unnecessary hate, and I'm not sure why. Black Loki says, I crackled when Strange told Wanda that her children weren't real because they were made of magic. And Wanda said, that's what every mother does. I think that was fantastic, too. That was a really awesome line. When we get a full universe, it's going to be madness. Well, the assumption is, for those of you who don't know what Secret Wars is from the comics, Battle World, is that the entire multiverse collapses on itself and we get one universe. So everybody exists together in one universe. And, it's Battle World, and it's good guys versus bad, and you have multiple different Spider-Mans and multiple different Iron Mans, all from all of the different multiverses who have survived, or universes that have survived, because they kind of collapse on each other in an incursion, which was explained to us in Multiverse of Madness, and at the very end, that as well, yeah. How did Dr. Supreme become Supreme? I don't know. There wasn't actually a Supreme Strange. I guess that was all Fugazi. It wasn't real. How can you bring OG characters off? Let it nothing not right. I don't know, J-Man. How does an incursion occur? So this is what they didn't necessarily explain, and I'm hoping that the future will explain it. You have to remember, this phase is seemingly going to last for 10 years. Kevin Feige has explained we have this phase we're planned out for the next 10 years. Hopefully the pinnacle of that is Secret Wars, Battle World, specifically with God Emperor Doom. Lots of awesome opportunities for that. So there's a lot of time to explain. We still weren't sure going into the movie, is the multiverse really here to stay, or is it here to explain kind of where the Fox characters or the X-Men or the Fantastic Four or Deadpool are going to come from, and then they're going to kind of close it on and move into a different direction. You don't need the multiverse for Galactus if that's going to be the big bad. But I think Secret Wars is the biggest direction you can take here. I don't think it can get much bigger than Secret Wars. And it would be hard to follow that up if they do pull it off. But that would be the multiverse and the incursion. And how does that all happen? And they're going to explain all of that in the coming years. My personal opinion of the movie, I liked it, but it felt very anticlimactic. A lot of explosion and slow moments. Movie could have been cut as well at somewhat increased in runtime. It's weird. Yeah, they ended up taking 30 minutes out of the movie. The reasoning behind it, I'm not sure. But I don't know. Personally, I think the movie as a whole was a really, really awesome experience. I think they tried something new, and I think it paid off. Where do you think that they will take the Scarlet Witch in the future? Well, for starters, she's not dead, right? If you don't watch them die on screen, like with Black Bolt, like with Reed Richards, like with any of those characters, Professor X, they're not dead. She's not dead. They have the option to bring her back if they want to, and, they can do anything with her. I don't think she'll be a bad guy moving forward. I think her question, she'll be more of like this anti-hero, this kind of secret dark entity that when they need her, they'll go to her, and it's kind of like a dangerous thing to bother the Scarlet Witch, but she's not dead. I enjoyed Sam Raimi's vision for the movie a lot. Lusquita. Not my favorite. Spider-Man was so much better. Okay. I think Spider-Man was more well-loved. I think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was a bigger movie. And it's hard to grab that and appreciate what that means. Enjoyment versus explanation. We got a lot more information out of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I thought that was a lot of fun. That was something I enjoyed thoroughly, was the explanation and the furthering of the plot for Phase 4. In my opinion, this was the best Phase 4 movie because of the pushing it forward and giving us a direction. Did I enjoy the time at the premiere? Yes, I had an absolute blast. The premiere was a lot of fun. It's always fun to go to those events, obviously. I like the No Way Home more as well. I think the majority of people will. Prefer it because there was a lot of information to get out of Multiverse of Madness. There was a lot for us to try to figure out and try to learn. And the general list of people will be probably liking Spider-Man for the nostalgia, for the inclusion of the 3 Spider-Man, which is obviously an epic cinematic moment that we were all a part of. Whereas Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had a lot of information to give us. They killed off characters who we were excited to see. Like, you're not supposed to like that, right? People are like, oh, I hate what they did to the Illuminati. Like, you're supposed to hate what they did to the Illuminati. You were never meant to enjoy that. That was kind of the point. And I feel like sometimes people can't appreciate that. Like that, all of that entire scene was specifically included for you to dislike it. So if you disliked it, they did their job right. You know, and that's the weird thing about cinema. That's the weird thing about movies. It's like, well, that was stupid. Why would they include these characters just to kill them? It's like, well, because they were kind of irrelevant characters. They don't really matter as much to the grand scheme of the future of the MCU as maybe knowing what their sacrifice meant. And I think that's something we don't really necessarily know how to appreciate just yet. But we will. We'll learn. We'll get there. I hope. She's not dead, but who's going to trust her to help in any regard? She can't just go on her way without repercussions. I'm curious to see what's going to look like and how she will get redeemed. Well, you have to remember, Heiser, and we'll talk about Wanda here for a second. Everything that happened with Wanda happened in a different universe. She didn't actually do anything in our universe. She killed Mount Wendigo, and you know, she fought with Doctor Strange and Wong, who are very understanding, and I think would trust her if they needed to. But the rest of the world didn't see what she did. The rest of 616 didn't see any of her problems or her going through and destroying different characters. Now, maybe in the multiverse, in different universes, her legend will be told and people will fear her. But in our specific world, yeah, people didn't see what happened. She can still get back on the lunchbox. She could still be an Avenger. For sure. Can I explain the end credit scene? Which one? The first one, obviously, with Clea. So Clea is I suppose, the daughter of Dormammu. And she's also in the comics the actual person who marries Doctor Strange. Although he always is in love with Christine, they never actually really end up together. I'm sure there are some comic runs, but technically in the comics, he ends up with Clea, who is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. They have a whole interesting thing where they get married in the cosmos, because she's not technically from Earth, so there's no way for them to get married. So they have this kind of magical niece. Yes, thank you. I apologize. I made a mistake. It's his niece. And yeah, it's his sister's daughter. And she has an interesting role. I think we got really in that movie the closure for Doctor Strange with Christine. They have that really nice conversation with the other Christine from the Reed Richards universe, where he said, "I love you in every universe," and that was expected and understood. But I think he's done Christine, so the introduction of Clea is to really build into the third movie that Doctor Strange will have a love aspect. He will have a love interest. He's got this weird Darkhold thing going on where he's got 3 eyes now, which is really weird and uncomfortable. But yeah, that was going to be the case. There is they're going to try to give him a love interest, and they're probably going to try to push his story forward using that specifically, I think, would be the plan. Yeah. I think Vengeful Dormammu might come back for some kind of multiversal scheme. Perhaps it was the incursion Clea was talking about. That's very possible. At some point, Clea does turn on Dormammu in the comics and works with Doctor Strange. Obviously, she still is the Sorceress Supreme of the Dark Dimension, and she's got a whole evil storyline, but she also has a good storyline, and hopefully that's what we will be seeing. Wanda was so OP in this film. I don't even think she was OP. I think she was just full P. She was FP. She was at full power. Wanda was always this character. They didn't retcon or change her character. Wanda is always this powerful in the comics. Kevin Feige said during Avengers Infinity War she was the most powerful character in the MCU. There's just no world where most people could defeat her, and she really could, 1v50 the entire Avengers team and would actually come out very victorious. And that isn't unrealistic from what we know about her from the comics. But yeah, she was pretty intense. Definitely very intense. Honestly, Marvel's going to deliver on characters. MCU being Earth 616, the same as the Prime Marvel Comics universe, is just awesome. All the characters will show up sooner or later. Yeah, we're going to get every character at some point, right? Because even after Battle World is finished, there's going to be more. There's going to be more. Why does the third eye look so badly edited? I don't know if it was badly edited as much as it's just unsettling. How weird is it to see a third eye? I mean, it looked pretty good. I just think it looks terrible, and it's not something. Human mind has a preset ability to create faces. You know, you look at the wall and you see in the weird paints that sometimes you can see smiley faces, or the human brain identifies with faces. So to see a misformity like a third eye is very uncomforting for the majority of humans. Same with, you know, mouth being not there or a nose not being there. Something changing from the normal aesthetic of a human face is very unsettling for the majority of humans. And I do feel that might be part of why it feels like it's not right, because it is just bad. Like, it's just terrible for a human to see something like that. Welcome to the stream, guys. If you're new, or if you're just joining us, we are having our Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness spoiler chat. Hit the like button if you haven't already to help the stream kind of grow and to help more people find out what we're doing over here. And if you're new to the stream and new to the channel, consider subscribing as well. Absolutely. Guy who gives a damn. Dude, Franklin Richards is canon in the MCU now, and that man, I'm hyped. And I am waiting for the moment when Franklin Richards uses Galactus as a Pokemon, like he does in the comics. Like a puppet, yeah. Franklin Richards. And now the idea that maybe he might be going after Wanda for killing his father. That could be even more interesting. Wanda tanked a blast during the fight in the beginning of the movie. I don't think she has a human level durability anymore. Oh yeah, no, she's beyond all of that. She's learned how to use her powers. And the craziest thing about Wanda is her powers didn't rely on the Darkhold. I want Disney R-rated by the end of this decade. Oh, it should be coming sooner than that with Deadpool. Why did Strange stop running after the barricade the sewer from Wanda? Oh, in the sewer. Why? Maybe to make, because she was getting through them all. Maybe to see if he had to do something to stop her. Uncle Ben dies. Sorry to spoil it. Well, thanks, Jay Wall. You've ruined the entire movie for everybody. Isn't the Secret Wars meant to be the end of the Marvel Universe? You know, it's very possible that might be the plan. Or how cool would it be if it just resets the Marvel Universe and then, you know, they start over? That would be really cool. That'd be really, really cool. I felt the Illuminati death scene was very rushed. The scene made Wanda so OP, and it made stakes and our expectations higher, which is why the ending did not feel that powerful. Maybe. I don't think it was rushed in the sense that it was lack substance. I think it was rushed in the sense that it kind of had to be, because they wanted to highlight that Wanda really could run through people, right? It was rushed because Wanda is just too freaking good, which was the real issue here. Not necessarily because, oh, they rushed it, but I just think that was the purpose. But yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Very crazy, let's be honest. I like the first actor who portrayed Mr. Fantastic. They look similar in the comics. Yeah? You mean from the Fox Mr. Fantastic, or like the first, like way back from like the 70s or 60s or whatever? I hope that John Krasinski isn't done playing Mr. Fantastic in the MCU. I agree. I hope the same. Can't believe we're going to get Franklin Richards. We're going to get him eventually. I don't know what the plan is, but they definitely mentioned him. He's coming. He exists. What the timeline for that is, I don't think we really know. But it's a pretty fun inclusion to the MCU, don't you think? Pretty fun inclusion for sure. The movie All Mothers Will Love Our Understand It. Or Understand It, maybe. Yeah. It's like a Mother's Day movie, basically. Yeah, the Fox one. Yeah. I don't remember the actor's name. I don't imagine we'll see him coming back. But I enjoyed the Fantastic Four movie. I thought it was really good. I know a lot of people are kind of weird about it, but I'm so excited for Wanda. Perhaps a solo Scarlet Witch movie. What do I think? Definitely going to get more Scarlet Witch in the future. I think too many people like her. She's not really dead. I don't think a building falling on top of her would kill her. So You prefer Johnny Rambo to Maria Rambo. Well, you know, with the multiverse, everything is now a possibility. And we could honestly see any character or any character combination there is out there. And that's just the fact of the matter. That anything is possible. Anything is possible. Anything is cool when you... What will they do with the Living Tribunal? You know, I think that the Living Tribunal for now is just monitoring the situation, because that's what he does, is he monitors the multiverse, the separate universes, and people who tamper with that sacredness. And maybe that's kind of a little hint to him showing up for Kang. Maybe he'll be a big player in helping defeat Kang, because Kang's not going to be an easy defeat. It's going to be hard, for sure. Didn't expect a Silver Surfer on that second movie. Yeah, didn't expect a Silver Surfer on the second movie. Yeah. The whole thing was a lot of fun. It obviously wasn't at the caliber that we're at with superhero movies now, but for having been from the time period that it was, I think they did a really, really good job. Should the statue that fell on Captain Marvel killed her? You know, maybe not on first blow, but she had been fighting with Wanda for a while there, technically. She was weakened. Who knows what kind of things Wanda did to her specifically, or what effect Wanda had on her. But I had the same thought originally, and I thought, well, she was pretty weak and damaged. So I'm going to say it's a possibility that a weak or damaged Captain Marvel could have died from that. But yeah, definitely something worth questioning. Like, maybe she's not even dead, you know? Maybe the idea is that a Captain Marvel has the ability to push out her energy to break the thing from falling on her or to protect her from getting hit. And this Captain Marvel at the time was so weak that she wasn't able to protect herself with her energy because she was knocked out, or she was unconscious, or she had just exhausted all of her abilities, and that left her vulnerable. How about that for an answer? Do you think John Krasinski will direct a Fantastic Four movie now that John Watts has left the project? I think it's a real possibility, and I think it's something I would like to see. Yeah. I think it's definitely a real possibility. I hope that John Krasinski returns as Reed. I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. I think he plays a really cool Mr. Fantastic. The reports that I've heard kind of say that he won't be coming back, that he's just playing this character, this role. It's kind of almost like a nod to the fans who've been asking for it over and over again. But, you know, he's definitely a proper age. And I think that, yeah, we're going to be hoping for something of that caliber moving forward. Whether he directs or whether he's in it, or he directs it and he's in it, who knows? So, super interesting. Is it true that Marvel will do a Scarlet Witch project? It's the rumor. And it's been a rumor for a while now, and they've kind of covered it up because obviously she dies in this movie, so they don't want to ruin that death by having her just come back until they want her to come back. And if we all know she has more projects signed, then obviously she's not dead. They want us to think she's dead, which I don't know why they think that we would think that. I think it's pretty obvious that we all would think she isn't. So if she's actually dead, then they did a bad job killing her. Like, that's weak. But since I don't think she's dead, that's completely fine. I found the amount of gore and jump scares are fine for PG-13 movie. I mean, look at Stranger Things. It's basically PG-13, but it's rated TV-14. Because I think TV shows have a different rating system. Well, my only question was that too much? You know, I like horror and I like scary things. When I'm going and watching a horror and scary thing, I get really excited. I'm into it. But I wasn't expecting that much. And I think maybe there are some parents out there that weren't either. Now, that's not the biggest deal. It's not the end of the world. Oh, no, your kid saw somebody die. It wasn't anything too terrible. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm assuming you skipped over my question twice now because you don't know the answer. Nope, I've got 120 people chatting with me, and I haven't seen everybody's questions. So that would be the reason. There's a lot of people chatting. I can't see everything. I usually just jump to the bottom and I'll get what I get. At this point, we really need to see a Marvel big board that's planned out for the next 10 years. I doubt we'll ever see that, but it would be nice to get some updates for what's the future now that we have this movie. I'm ready for some more Marvel updates, I think, following this movie. We know Black Panther's coming. We know Wakanda Forever is Black Panther's movie, right? We know Thor: Love and Thunder, a few Disney Plus projects, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, Captain Marvel, all that stuff. Like, I'm ready for something like, what's the next big progression? Maybe announce Deadpool 3, maybe announce the Fantastic Four. Now we've seen a Reed Richards, so announce the Fantastic Four. Like, what's the plan? Like, let's move on here. I'm ready for that. Enrico, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I heard that the replacement of the Infinity Stones was the cornerstone of creation. I heard that the next replacement of the Infinity Stones was the cornerstone of creation, the Ebony Blade and the Darkhold. Some are not revealed yet. Yeah, I think a lot of what they're doing is kind of moving into gods and relics. You know, they talked about relics in the first Doctor Strange, Enrico, with, you know, the Staff of the Living Tribunal and different relics giving people power. And now we're seeing it in Moon Knight, kind of more relics with what Arthur Harrow had with the staff and the powers that gods give to mortals. With the all-black sword, the all-black Necro sword, which comes originally from Null and ends up in the hands of Gore the God Butcher. You have the Ebony Blade. You've seen things like the Darkhold and the Vishanti. I think a lot of those items are going to be important moving forward for sure. For sure. Thank you for the super chat, and that's an awesome comment. Definitely some are not yet revealed, though. I'll ask a third time. Why did they say 616, where in Spider-Man they said we are Earth 9999? I don't remember specifically what you're referring to here, but anything that was said in either Spider-Man No Way Home or Spider-Man Far From Home about multiverse was stuff kind of said in ignorance. Obviously, the 838 universe where the Illuminati was from had an understanding of how multiversal travel worked. We really didn't. We understood that the multiverse existed as a universe. We knew that it was a possibility. Doctor Strange always had an idea about the concept of it. Nobody else really talked about it. Wanda was even trying to figure out how it works. But as far as our technology goes, we didn't really have many understandings of it. So maybe we called ourselves 0.999 or whatever. But I just think if there is a universe that knows about multiversal travel, perhaps they've connected with other universes and there is some type of actual scale, and 616 is what ours has been deemed. But it does sound like for the most part, multiversal travel is pretty much a no-no. Who do I think would win between Maria Captain Marvel and main Carol Captain Marvel? Well, I've only seen a little bit from Maria Captain Marvel, and she didn't do a whole lot. So let's say Carol Captain Marvel. It's from Spider-Man Far From Home. Mysterio said that. Well, Mysterio didn't know, right? Mysterio was lying. Mysterio was lying about the multiverse. None of that was real. And I thought Mysterio said 616 as well, which I have wondered about, but Mysterio was lying. So that's what I understand. It's hard to say. None of that. I mean, we're still only just getting into the multiverse. We're still only just now understanding what does the multiverse mean. There's a lot more to learn, a lot more for us to be explained, or to have explained to us, rather. And the continuation of America Chavez, of now Doctor Strange, who knows more and more, of Clea showing up. Like, this is all going to help us get further into the multiverse. I agree. Maria Captain Marvel died from a building level attack. Carol is way more durable. That's from what we saw. That's what I would say. But that's why America was doing in the film. It is what America was doing in the film. 100%. She was doing a lot of multiversal travel, but I don't think necessarily that she was being monitored or anything, because it was a power that nobody's really seen before. And her power is a very exceptional ability. It's not something that most people can just do, is travel the multiverse. They said specifically about Reed Richards. Granted, the Illuminati was very arrogant, which was the reason they all got destroyed in about 20 seconds. But, you know, the introduction of Reed Richards, the smartest man in the universe. Like, maybe he did figure out how to kind of have that multiversal travel. The Doctor Strange that they had in their universe was a very powerful Doctor Strange, even though eventually he was corrupted. Like, they had some very, very powerful and capable characters. They just didn't understand what it meant for Wanda to be the Nexus being from our universe. Mysterio said he comes from 616 and that our Earth is 9999, not the other way around. Or the other way around, not sure. Yeah, one of the two, but one thing that I can just say for certain is Mysterio was lying. Like, we know this for a fact. He wasn't from a different universe. So that almost doesn't matter. Was it a convenience that he said 616, and is it kind of overlapping? What are the odds that he said 616 to everything if he made up a number? Yeah, obviously. But that's how it is. Now we wait for Thor. I'll be able to watch Thor for free now as well, since I'm now working in the movies. Hey, that's super cool. Yeah, Thor's going to be really exciting. I'm super excited for Thor. Death means nothing anymore in the MCU because you can be replaced by a multiverse variant. Yes and no. Will Iron Man ever truly be replaced? No, he won't. Captain America, will he ever truly be replaced? No. Some characters you could replace, and some you can't. And I think that's more of an emotional thing than an actual physical thing. Wanda is not a Nexus being in the MCU. America Chavez is the Nexus being. I mean, they haven't quite defined, or rather, I need to go back and find out what it was specifically that Agatha Harkness said, but they haven't really explained the Nexus being thing. Do you think we can get more cameos in the future? The multiverse is here to stay, I feel. The multiverse is definitely here to stay. A big central point of Phase 4 through Phase 5 and 6 is going to be the multiverse. And yeah, that would be super cool. And yeah, definitely room for more cameos for different Iron Mans, different Captain Americas, all sorts of different things that we could run into. Talking about What If Season 2, the Spider-Man scene has Toby Spidey in the middle. That got to be something, right? I didn't see whatever you're referring to, I'm afraid. So Captain America is still alive in the MCU, correct? He's just old. You know, that's kind of undetermined. And there was a lot of hinting and having fun with that during Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All the jokes about him being on the moon, which I think could mean that he's actually on the sword base with Nick Fury helping out. Maybe not as Captain America, but as like a general, somebody calling shots, giving tactics and ideas, and helping arm the forces against whatever's coming. But that's what I think that could mean, because they just mentioned it too many times. And I don't feel like Captain America would die off screen. I feel like Captain America would get a proper ending. But who knows? There are multiple versions of Wanda in the MCU. She's not a Nexus being. Yes, but none of them possess chaos magic. It wasn't the existence of Wanda that made her a Nexus being. It was the existence of a Scarlet Witch. There was only one Scarlet Witch, which was the Nexus effect. That is what I believe that they were trying to tell us. Because Wanda was Wanda. I'm sure there are Wandas that exist in universes that were completely normal and didn't actually have their mutant powers at all. But Wanda being the Scarlet Witch, specifically, and not just a mutant and not just somebody with kids, specifically a Scarlet Witch, that is what made her the Nexus being. But yeah, that's all out for still debate. I mean, they straight up called Wanda a Nexus being in WandaVision, so that has to have some merit. Maybe Steve will die in Captain America 4. That would be kind of sad, but yeah, I would be really sad to see a Steve burial, but I would be kind of more upset if we didn't have a Steve burial, so we need something, right? Right now it's been kind of left. There's so many different aspects. You really want to think about everything going on in the MCU right now between Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, the mutants, the multiverse has opened up. You have the Earthbound stuff with with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, which are completely separate things. Guardians of the Galaxy just wrapped filming. The Marvels is happening. The Marvel series. She-Hulk's coming. Now you got Moon Knight and all of that different stuff. Like every corner of the earth is just covered in all sorts of stuff. And it's going to be pretty nutty. But the Darkhold is present in all universes. Yes, but you have to have a certain power. I couldn't just go pick up a Darkhold and be powered through it. And also now it doesn't exist in all universes. It's now gone in all universes, technically. What you doing, cat? Maybe Steve will die. I read that one. More than one Wanda, but only one could become the Scarlet Witch. Exactly. The Illuminati universe, Wanda has power, though. What's going on? I'm like, meow. 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 What's going on? My kitty came to say hello. What's going on? You want to go up? He got a little bed here, but I got to turn it up for him. Come here. It's the vibe. Come here. Lay down. Yeah, I do think that's kind of funny, Master. But not everybody knows, like, who really saw what was going on with Doctor Strange. Like, most of that didn't happen on Earth, on our Earth. Like, it didn't. So, how would Moon Knight have gotten involved? Or how would Captain America gotten involved? Like, they wouldn't have done anything. They would have all died immediately. So, that all kind of made sense. Xochitl Gomez has some great potentially in foreseen future for America Chavez character if it's handled with care and not forcing what she is, but showing how she want to live and make some peeps shut. Yeah, I think Xochitl Gomez played a fantastic role, and I think the inclusion of the character was really, really cool. I can't wait to see what she does in the future. How is the Darkhold gone in all the universes? That was something that I was questioning myself, but they did say, right? That the way that it's gone is because they said it. And that's something that they'll have to explain. Do I think any cameos were cut out of the movie? I actually do. I do think that at some point an Iron Man was filmed. And I think that for whatever reason they chose not to include it. I think that maybe there were some Deadpool scenes filmed and they chose not to include those. And maybe several others. We don't know. We lost about 30 minutes of movie before the final cut came out. So I would say for sure we lost some cameos. Because it seems like, based off of the debate of many insiders, there definitely at some point was hard evidence that Iron Man was going to be in this movie. And then it ended up not going that direction. Yo, Heiser, thank you for the super chat. Super chat for the kitty cat. That is my kitty cat. He go meow. I've been muted. Yeah, I heard Toby was actually probably one of the cuts as well. For sure. A vacant chair was left in the Illuminati headquarters. Yeah, and then one of the big things we heard was that Superior Iron Man was going to be calling or contacting Doctor Strange to get help reorganizing the multiverse. So, yeah, it's been pretty wild, and there's a lot of different loose ends that need to be tied up, and I think they were intentional loose ends, not bad writing loose ends, stuff that they left arbitrarily open so that they could come back and have that opportunity in that moment to, you know, do what they need to do. And by that I mean add information or tell more story. I feel like cameos that were taken out could featured in deleted scenes. That's always a possibility. You don't know how much they're going to want to keep a secret for the future and how much they're just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not going back to that. Honestly, Elizabeth Olsen's dialogue delivery were so good, which is what made us feel like she was terrifying. Oh, she's incredible. I'm going to say Chaos Magic versus Phoenix Force. Chaos Magic would win. Thanos is now officially a paperweight, but I'm still confused. Why did they do that? I get the Illuminati is too OP, but how did it end up like that? You're causing problems. I think the Illuminati was a lot stronger than our Avengers, which is what made them so arrogant. That when they said, oh, hey, stop. That when they said, oh, we can handle Wanda, like, they were super arrogant. They were super, oh, we've defeated Thanos and we can take care of your little Scarlet Witch. Like, I don't think they appreciated the power. Yeah, Heiser, the power of the super chat. Mute the mic. Without Chthon or the Temple or the Darkhold is Wanda weak. Without the Phoenix, Jean Grey is weak. I disagree. I don't think Wanda needs the Darkhold to be strong. I think the Darkhold, if anything, kind of clouds her judgment and uses her. But I don't think the Darkhold is wherein lies her power. You know what I mean? Whereas the Phoenix Force does give Jean all of her power, I don't think Wanda needs the Darkhold to be powerful by any means at all. Am I mad that Deadpool wasn't in the movie? No, just sad. It seemed like a really good opportunity, and I'm really excited for Deadpool. Obviously, I love Deadpool. There's Deadpool. There's Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I got my Deadpool Funko Pops here. Like, I love Deadpool. I got my little... Look at this boy. I think I can try to have a Sprite. This is my Deadpool boy. Oh, he covered. Let's move it. Uncover him. It's the vibe. Check out my Deadpool there. Ha ha ha. Baby, are you running for the night? I think that we all could use a Sprite. Let's just reorganize this a little bit. Culture ketchup. I'm gonna just turn this off. Nobody's looking at it anyway. There we go. That's better. Let's be full screen for a little bit. Let's be full screen for a little bit. All right. Ha ha ha. What did I miss? 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 Odin Force versus Chaos Fire. It technically does. The same stone can restart the destruction and make the reading of the stone. I'm behind everybody. Hey, I'm late. Sorry I'm late. My AirPods didn't work and I'm kind of freaked out. Now it's fine though. How's everything going? Everything's going great, Legendary Phoenix. We're having a good chat about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Superhero landing incoming. That's rough on the knees. Yeah, I'm excited for Deadpool, guys. Any cameos in Thor: Love and Thunder, you think? I wouldn't expect massive cameos. We might get some cosmic revelation, meaning like releasing of who's going to be big bads in the cosmics in the space. The Living Tribunal perhaps might be one of those revelations. We'll have to see. I know it's probably going to help us learn a little bit more about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is what I'm excited for, right? Because that's an exciting thing. The line Wanda said to Reed about her wife, or his wife, was still alive to take care of the child was pretty savage and deadly. That made me pretty sad for Sue Storm, or whoever his wife is, and the child. Yeah, that was an intense moment, wasn't it? I'm a father too. I have children. Do you have a wife? Is she alive? Because somebody needs to raise the kid. Yeah, Beta Ray Bill will be cool. When do you think we will see Wanda again? Oof. Who knows? I do believe we will see her again, but who knows when. They made the Lego set with Sarah, Wong's love interest. Maybe she has some more scenes which were cut. Yeah, they also made a Funko Pop with Sarah. That was never there either. So yeah, that's interesting as well. The Darkhold gives you a power boost and the Temple gives you a power boost. Yes, but not necessarily a power boost that is... It's hard to explain. Take care, Heiser. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the super chats and thank you for being a member of the community. I don't know. I would argue that Wanda doesn't need the Darkhold to be as strong as she needs to be. I think there are other ways that Wanda can be strong. I think the fact that she's the Scarlet Witch specifically and she has access to this chaos magic, I feel like she has kind of insane power. The Darkhold allows her to do different things, like it allowed her to dreamwalk and take over different people, but the power that Wanda had specifically to destroy the Illuminati didn't come from the Darkhold. Like, that's just power that Wanda possesses. She was learning about it in WandaVision. She realized it existed in WandaVision. You know, she took over all of Westview without the Darkhold. You know, she was using the Darkhold specifically to try to get her kids, and she had ways that through the Darkhold she could do that. So it extended her power, but I don't think it amplifies her power. Yeah, the demons whisk fruit. I gotta read it out loud. So the fight between Wanda and Dead Strange, she says go back to hell, which means hell exists and means Mephisto exists technically. And they talk about Cthulhu or Chthon, Chthon, and yeah, they kind of give that whole idea a really awesome thing. So definitely a little demonic explanation there for us. Ghost Rider was teased in the Multiverse of Madness. Black Bolt was teased. He did show up. I mean, it kind of went back and forth. I think that they definitely cut some characters out. Maybe for the sake of confusion or for the sake of time or for the sake of the story. But there definitely were some characters cut out of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Which ones they were, I don't know if we'll ever get told. But it could have been people like Ghost Rider, Iron Man, Deadpool, all these characters that we've been talking about. I do believe at some point several of them did have roles, or at least expected roles in the movie. Well, what do I think about Secret Wars? I think it's going to be big. I think it's ambitious, and I'm curious to see how they pull it out. I'm kind of worried about the portrayal of Gore the God Butcher because of inaccuracy. Got it. But we got the Christian Bale in it, and the Necro Sword will slowly turn him into cosmic accurate version. I think that might be part of it, is the sword's going to kind of corrupt him and make him kind of go insane and be more like the Gore we know. One thing that I hate is that we always see Wanda, but we never seen Cosmo. Ooh, maybe there'll be room for Cosmo later on. I know we're headed for Secret Wars, but which movie is headed forward? We'll talk about it more. I mean, Fantastic Four, Loki Season 2, all the stuff that's going to have to do with the multiverse. Secret Wars is the explosion of the multiverse, right? So the projects that are going to cause the explosion of the multiverse are the projects that we're going to have to focus on for getting to that point. Doctor Doom, anything that would include Doctor Doom, whether that's a solo series, a solo movie, or simply just his involvement in the Fantastic Four. That's all stuff pushing us towards Secret Wars. And then eventually when all the multiverses collapse, this seems like the Doctor Strange 3 movie is all about incursion. Well, the multiverse collapsing is going to be a massive incursion that leads to Secret Wars. All of that's going to have to do with that as well. White Vision, any ideas? No, to be honest. I didn't expect to see him in this movie. I know a lot of people were talking about White Vision potentially showing up. I didn't have any expectation for White Vision. It seems to me that they've kind of shelved the character, and I felt that way during WandaVision. The character existed, and the character was there, but they kind of kept a version of him so they could bring him back as needed, but they might not necessarily have a plan for him just yet. So Secret Wars and Secret Invasion are two different things. Secret Wars is the collapsing of the multiverse into one level playing field, and then Battle World happens, God Emperor Doom takes over. Secret Invasion is Skrulls' war with Earth, essentially. White Vision will probably save Wanda from the Rebel. No, I just don't think the Rebel was going to kill Wanda, to be honest. I just think she's kind of above that. I think White Vision's been saved for a different project, potentially. Unknown even maybe to Marvel so far. But maybe one day will be made clear. Marvel Studios has to do Doctor Doom justice. Yes, they do. Especially if he's going to be the pivotal point. The big bad of the Secret Wars is God Emperor Doom. So they're going to have to take their time introducing him. They're going to have to take their time, giving him his important role in the MCU. And I completely agree with you on that. When do I think Captain America 4 is coming out? 2024. 2024 would be my guess. Maybe the act of destroying the tomb weakened her. I don't think it did. Best part was Wanda trapped in a mirror dimension. That was super cool, wasn't it? That was so well done. And then her escaping. It was super fun. I really enjoyed that. I honestly did feel like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was that much connected to other big Phase 4 MCU projects like Loki. That was the only thing I felt was lacking a bit in the movie. the interconnection. There was definitely a little bit of interconnection maybe lacking, but this is pushing us forward for the bigger picture. The bigger picture, right? This is talking about Secret Wars coming down the road, or Incursion, and it really introduced all these multiversal features that we don't necessarily have answers for just yet, that will hopefully be explored further in Ant-Man Quantumania with Kang, and explored further in Loki Season 2. 2024 sounds about right. Honestly, that was just a guess. Captain Carter sliced in half. Yeah, that was unexpected. We were also excited to see Captain Carter finally in live action, and that didn't last long. She only got half of her screen time. Dad joke by me. Dad joke by me. I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are coming back. No. I do not personally believe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be coming back. As Battleworld will be a huge part of it, do you think we could see the Beyonder for Secret Wars? Oh, well, I mean, the Beyonder's first ever appearance was in Secret Wars, right? So, in the comics, so 100%, I don't know if you can have Secret Wars without the Beyonder. And at some point, the Beyonder, who protects and watches everything, would definitely be involved there, yeah. Hi, Chris. The Scarlet Witch is definitely not dead. Yeah, I agree. She could have done that all day. Yeah, I don't think that she was going to be doing that all day. Marvel was kind of like Shonen Jump from Phase 1 to 3 here and there, but now they're going full Sinian mode from now on. I don't know what those things mean. Chris the comedian. No, Chris the dad joke. I'm providing dad jokes for y'all. That's what I got going. Alrighty, guys. Let's end this off. Let's say the MCU has 5 shelves of quality. Okay? Where do you put this film? What shelf do you think this film falls on? Top shelf with Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home. Bottom shelf with what movie is never? Black Widow maybe would be bottom shelf MCU. So you got to compare, in my opinion, MCU movies to other MCU movies. And I think specifically, what shelf are you putting this on? You think so the first shelf would be the best shelf. The 5th shelf would be the worst shelf. Go. That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I know where I'm putting this movie. I'm curious what you guys think. One day we're going to have to go through and make a whole system and actually put every single one on the shelf where it belongs. So we have, let's see, 2nd, 4th, 1st, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. 4th, 3rd, 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 1st, 1st. No Way Home is up there. 4th. So you guys are kind of all over the place. 3rd because it lacks something. 1st. So there's a few firsts, and there's a couple 2nd. There's a good amount of 3rds and a decent amount of 4th, but no 5ths. So a few more 1sts. A lot of people really enjoyed it, and some people were kind of unsure. That's the vibe I'm getting. You know, most people either really, really liked it and put it top shelf, or are kind of feeling like it's on the 3rd or 4th shelf. Not many 2nd. Nobody really hated it. I don't have a single 5th shelf. I don't have a single 5th shelf, which is good. Because I don't think it's hard to say, oh, this Marvel movie is 5th shelf, but you know, some are. Some movies just are. 2nd, 1st is preoccupied by Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Ooh. Multiverse of Madness has become one of my new favorite Marvel movies. Who's for? Yo. I would say 2nd shelf if I'm being honest. That's all right. It sounds like a lot of mixed reviews, and that's kind of what the world is saying about this movie as well, not just you guys, but like kind of unsure. A very unsure, is it top shelf? Is it bottom shelf? Where does this belong? I would put this in the top shelf. I would say this belongs up there with the great Marvel character coalition movies. I think it is a very, very good movie. I like that Marvel took a risk and they left the average storyline of good guy versus bad, that the bad guy wasn't even really that bad of a person, but that the multiverse was crumbling because of her actions, or potentially could crumble because of her actions. But then we also learned that Doctor Strange across the universe isn't really that great either, but ours is specifically, a good guy, and what kind of Doctor Strange are you? There were a lot of elements that I think people are kind of missing to this film because there were so many different elements involved in it. It was definitely good, but for the future of the MCU, it seems like upcoming movies will fight for the top shelf. Oh, yeah. But that's the thing. Marvel can only get better. Like, they have to. The problem is if it's not the best, it's crap. And that's what everybody says, and that's what everybody's thought is, oh, this movie isn't better than Endgame, so it's trash. It's like, well, that's not fair. No Way Home, Endgame, Shang-Chi, Thor Ragnarok, Multiverse of Madness are my top 5 favorites. Interesting. Really interesting. I really wanted to love this movie, but it wasn't my favorite. And that's okay. A lot of people... It might have been too much or too little for a lot of people. But I do think that this movie had some potential and some hidden moments that maybe a lot of people didn't necessarily appreciate. He wasn't Supreme Strange. Do you think it was weird that Wanda was searching through the multiverse for her children but not Vision? Literally no mention of Vision. It's like he doesn't matter to her anymore. Right, now she's all about her kids. That's an interesting parallel to real life, isn't it? I do think that's an interesting point to raise. There's no Supreme Strange. It's Sinister Strange. Thank you. It's not Supreme Strange. Everybody keep thinking it's the guy from What If. It's not. It's a completely different character. Completely different character. Why the movie's not talking about the head coming out of the earth? About the big character? Yeah, I don't know. That'll all be discussed at some point, right? Who knows when. But it will be discussed at some point. The movie is 1 out of 10 because Wanda was crushed at the end. I don't think she's dead. I did absolutely love it for the most part, but it wasn't perfect. It's a very special film. It's very unique. It's a very unique film. Marvel is all about it sometimes, maybe amazing, awesome, okay, and sometimes meh and crap, and taking criticism and building it strong can make MCU top-tier competition. Will Supreme Strange arrive in future movies? I don't think so. I think people are putting a lot of pressure on What If being involved in the MCU, and I just don't think it was. I never thought it was. I did my what do you need to know before you watch Doctor Strange video, and I didn't even mention What If, because I just don't think What If matters. The most brutal kill was Black Bolt and Agent Carter Wasp. Yeah, those were pretty intense, weren't they? They were intense. The incursion explaining is confusing. I don't think it's terribly confusing. I think a big part of how it works is, the incursion is when multiverses collide. When two universes collide and become one. Sometimes they collide and become one or the other. Sometimes they collide and completely wipe out one. Sometimes they collide and kind of mix together. And I think that there's going to be more explanations of what an incursion is as we get to Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is an incursion of the entire multiverse, and then there's just one universe that remains. Meow. Rub, rub. Rub, rub. Come here. Come on up. Come on up. Do you think Symbiote Supreme will appear in the MCU? I mean, everybody could appear, but I don't think that that's one that is really trying to push right now at the moment. Yeah. The Cloak of the Dam moment was awesome. It was super awesome. I do agree. But all right, guys, that was an awesome stream. I think that this movie has a lot of open-ended questions. I think that there's a lot for them to explain off of it, a lot for them to build off of it. And I think maybe we as fans don't like those open-ended questions, and sometimes we don't even notice them. Like, there are points and plots and possibilities that come from this movie that people haven't even discussed yet, that people haven't even imagined yet, that Marvel might not have even imagined yet. But it did leave room for a lot of plugins and a lot of opportunities. So I liked it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I don't have very many complaints. I do have a few. But overall, I think that it was a fun experience, and I'm excited to see where they go from this specifically. The problem we have in the MCU is it's going to be a while before we get answers for what the future of Doctor Strange is, because there are so many different projects headed our way. But thank you guys so much for joining for the stream. If you haven't already liked the video, do me a favor and go ahead and hit that like button. We're almost at 100, which would be cool if we could get to 100 likes. Awesome participation today. Lots of people joining and giving their opinions. A lot of new faces, a lot of old faces. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. You can also check me out at Twitter at @TheCultureChris and Instagram at Chris M. Rosser. I got pictures from the red carpet premiere there. I've got some personal stuff up there as well. And on Twitter, we talk about all sorts of Marvel movie news and DC, all sorts of movie news going on there all the time. So if you guys are interested in either of those things, Twitter at TheCultureChris and Instagram at Chris M. Rosser. Just to finish off, the open-ended questions were 100% intentional. So those are going to be the future of the MCU, and I'm excited for that myself. But guys, thank you so much for joining. Very much appreciate everybody's participation, making these streams so much fun. Before you head out, hit that like button, and I will see you guys all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.